fans here are all set, every one of them eagerly awaiting the 58 laps of today's race.
Albert Park often seems to set teammate against teammate, from Hill and Villeneuve dueling for the 1996 win to Bottas beating fellow Mercedes driver and pole sitter Hamilton to the win in 2019.
The Albert Park circuit is bursting with rapid corners and a long straight where drivers can push their speed to the limits. Good attention to medium speed downforce will likely make beating this beast of a track just a little bit easier. Race day has arrived and the time has almost come for these drivers to
Look how
fight it
blurry
out.
this is.
Wheels
I
to wheel.
really need to polish this up afterward. Okay, alright, so it is now officially race day. Fine. Fine. So let's see what tires we have available. So in terms of compounds, so we have 2 sets of softs, 1 set of mediums, 1 set of hards, and 3 times scuffed softs. Fine. Aerosmith, in terms of strategy, has 3 sets of softs, 1 set of new mediums, 1 set of hards, and 2 sets of scuffed softs. So that is good backups to have a hold of. Okay, so let's have a look-see. So let's do Ricardo first. We want him to be on the soft, and I don't like this. I really don't like this. I don't like intentionally dipping into the cliff. So let's edit this strategy real quick, and we're going to bring this forward. So there we go. That takes a second off. And if we bring this forward, yeah, there we go. Okay, that's a lot better. I'm happy with this for Ricardo. Unless, is there a world where we do hard and soft? Yeah, no, that's quite a bit slower. Okay, there's not a world where that happens. Okay, so I'm happy with this one for Ricardo. So Ricardo, actually, I need to note. So we're going to start 16th on a set of softs. On lap 16, we're going to come in for a set of hards, and then lap 40 for a set of mediums. So that's going to vouch for those tires. That's fine. And then for Aerosmith, we want to do something different with strategy-wise. So we're going to start 21st. What we're going to do is we're going to start Aerosmith on the hards, because she's already going to be last place anyway. So let's start on the hard tires, and we'll add a new stint onto the... Let's do the softs. And we'll shimmy that all the way up here. Probably about here. So on lap 26, we're going to come in for a set of softs, and then our final stint is going to be a set of medium tires, which I want here. That's going to be at lap 13, 9 for the mediums. Fine, and then that vouches these tires. Fine, okay. I'm not too worried about this because I'm going to consider that we are... Yeah, okay, that is the fastest strategy. Okay, fine. Okay, so I'm going to underfuel both of our cars by 1 lap to give us a little bit of advantage there. And driver options at the start, we are going to increase pace, increase fuel use, and we are going to burn our ERS at the very start of the race. And I am quite happy with this. So without further ado, it's time for the Australian Grand Prix.
Final checks are being carried out by the teams, and it won't be long until we get this race underway. And for Lando Norris, this is another chance to see what he can do in this car.
Yeah, it's a P5 start. The podium's in sight, but there's a lot standing in their way.
And it looks like we're good to go. Get ready for the Australian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
Alright, and we are off, so let's tell our give our drivers their respective instructions. And it looks like everybody is off the line pretty well. Ricciardo is trying to make up some places. Oh my god, he went... Jesus Christ, he went hell around the outside. We've made up 2 positions on this opening lap, and we've got a gap for days already. Jesus Christ. Okay, that was a good opening lap from Ricciardo. Aerosmith, on the other hand, is fighting for positions, but is a lot further back. But this isn't too bad because we're on the harder tyre. We're not the only one doing this strategy, but the people on the softs and mediums around us are in a different race. So this isn't too bad. We will expect Aerosmith to probably drop down into 22nd. That isn't too much of a concern. Up towards the angry end of the pack, Ricciardo is thinking about trying to pull overtake on the RB Racing car. But at the moment, can't seem to make it happen. The RB car is itself trying to get past a Sauber. And unfortunately, Magnussen has caught right up to the back of Ricciardo and has gone for the overtake, which he's going to make work, unfortunately. So that drops Ricciardo back down to 15th place. So at the end of lap 1, we have at least made up 1 place, which is still a very spirited start for Ricciardo. At the end of lap 1, we are going to chill on the tyre and the fuel use.
DRS enabled.
And the DRS is now enabled. So there are 3 DRS zones here at Albert Park. We're approaching the first of them now. So I'm not sure where the detection zone is, if we see the DRS. No, okay, there's no DRS detection here. Wait, there's 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh god, there is 4. Jesus Christ, okay. This is a very DRS-y track. Fucking hell. Alright, so now the DRS should be coming into play. So we're heading into the first DRS detection of the lap. And this does give Ricciardo the DRS. So Ricciardo is going to try and catch up on the back of Magnussen. Magnussen himself has DRS, so that kind of cancels out the advantage. But that is phase 1 done. The DRS is going to open again. Ricciardo tries down the inside, but nothing really happens. We're still stuck behind Magnussen, who is defending, but he is eating his tires doing so.
Honestly, I don't think we can do much more.
You're doing okay, Ricciardo. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Hamlin will keep you right. Hamlin will keep you right. At the arse end of the field, somehow Aerosmith is keeping Sargent at bay. This I didn't expect. I expected Sargent to get past Aerosmith quite decisively, but we're now out of ERS. So let's take us off deployment mode and put us back into neutral mode. Oh.
Very good job.
Meanwhile, Ricciardo gets past Magnussen, which is interesting. Let's see how that happened. So this is coming out the start-finish straight. He just slips up the inside and is passed, which is pretty good. And it's a double DRS zone here at Australia. So 1 DRS detection area before the start-finish straight counts for the 2 areas. So Ricciardo gets a double DRS. I think there's been some kind of accident, because Sainz has suddenly got damage. Or at least our spotters are telling us there is damage or some kind of issue at play. So this could affect Sainz's race. For just now, it's going to be down to Ricciardo to see if we can keep Magnussen at bay. Ricciardo is at peak performance. He is absolutely on peak performance. This is hopefully going to allow him to catch up onto the back of Iwasa. We have stolen Daniel Ricciardo from Team RB, which, oh my god, this is a big ass jamboree of cars. This could be a little something something. Yeah, so Iwasa has taken the seat from Daniel Ricciardo, who has come over to Hibble F1. And yeah, God, the two Stroll and Alonso very, very almost had a coming together during their little overtake there. Aerosmith down in 21st place was attempting an overtake, which was a bit of an interesting move, and Sargent still cannot find a way past. This is pretty huge for Aerosmith. The longer that we can keep Sargent behind us, the less of a threat he becomes, and in fact Aerosmith's got her DRS open. Sargent has gone for the overtake, but can Aerosmith go around the outside? She'll have the inside for the next corner, and she can. She makes up the place with the second DRS zone. Wow, good going for Aerosmith. She'll be feeling pretty good about now as well. That's huge.
Right then,
Let's see if we can get another view of this.
Right, so this was the fourth corner. It's there for the taking.
And around the outside she goes. She'll be feeling pretty good about that. She'll definitely be feeling very good about that one. Unfortunately, on the hard tyres, I think we are going to be quite hard pressed to catch up to Zhao in the Sauber. But goddamn, she's going to try and make an effort of it. And Zhao is who we are effectively in a race with, because they are also on the hard tyre strategy. However, it should be noted that they are 6% less tyre life. Oh, Aerosmith is getting ganged up on here. She's got an Alpine to the right and a Williams to the left. But thankfully they two are jostling for position, which does free Aerosmith up to pull a little bit of a gap out. The gap has now got up to half a second there, but having to defend has cost her quite a bit of time. But yeah, this is all very good stuff. Up with Daniel Ricciardo, we're doing quite well holding that gap to Bottas. Both of our drivers are chasing down a Sauber, which is slightly amusing. And there's a big gaggle going on behind. Magnussen goes down the inside. Ricciardo is going to have the inside for the next corner.
No concern on tire wear.
Oh, they're still side by side. I think this gives Magnussen the inside. And they're still side by side. Neither of them are backing out of it. Magnussen's going to have the inside again, but Ricciardo tries to eke out the advantage on the outside. And Ricciardo, with guile and desperation, holds on to the position, holds on to that 14th place. Sainz, with whatever damage he has had, has dropped down a couple of positions, so we're not actually sure what's going on with the Ferrari over here, but it is certainly an interesting series of events. Taking stock of the race at the, well, coming up to the end of lap 5, we have Verstappen in the lead from Perez, who's 3 seconds to the good. Perez is leading a 3-car battle of Perez, Norris and Charles Leclerc, who was our pole sitter. Hamilton is with his teammate fighting for 5th place, followed closely by Oscar Piastri. Jesus Christ, George Russell was absolutely all over the shop there. That could be a bit of an interesting battle. McLaren on McLaren, and Piastri almost cops the rear bumper of George Russell there. That could have been pretty messy. Sainz is in the middle of this pack with Yuki Tsunoda in 9th. Alonso is 10th, leading this absolute freight train. Oh no, it's Tsunoda that leads the absolute freight train of cars that go from 9th down to 18th. Zhao was somewhat on his own in 19th place, but he is definitively pulling away from our very own Raven Aerosmith in 20th, who is still managing to hold off Gasly and Sargent. Her confidence is just getting higher and higher by doing these successful defenses. So that is the lap 5 stock of this race. Now, we are expecting both of our drivers to get lapped, so we are currently working towards my fuel strategy, which I have
Okay.
planned out at the bottom. So we'll have to see how this all goes. I'm trying to work out where. So F1 Manager doesn't have a like automatically go where is most interesting camera like iRacing does. So I'm just trying to see what is over here. This is Iwasa trying to get no, this is Tsunoda trying to get past Alonso for 9th place. They were side by side briefly, but Tsunoda's had to back out of it, unfortunately. It's still a big gaggle of 4 cars. Teammates trying desperately not to take each other out, and Ricciardo is waiting patiently to try and see how he can get past. Aerosmith has lost a place to Pierre Gasly. Let's see how that happened. It's DRS. She blocks on the center line. Gasly goes around the outside. So it's going to be the outside for corner 1, which is here. Oh, but he's already passed. Already well passed. So it is once again on Aerosmith to see if she can pass Gasly once again. However, the good news is he and Sargent have had to shred their tires in order to keep up with and subsequently pass Aerosmith. So I'm really not too worried about this. In fact, of all of the cars that are running the hard tire strategy, Aerosmith is the one who is holding on to her tires the best. So in the event of a crash in safety car, this is going to give us the best flexibility to come in and play with strategy somewhat. Over at the Ricciardo end of things, Ricciardo is trying to find a way past Bottas. He's having a sniff, but not quite finding any way past. This 4-way battle between both Team RBs and both Aston Martins is proving quite interesting. Although I think we've come to it just at its conclusion for this lap. They've all strung out for the DRS zones. Everybody and their dog, with the exception of Alonso, gets DRS, so nobody gets any particular advantage. It is a double DRS zone, so everyone who had DRS is going to open their DRS to have it again. Let's see, can Alonso hold on? Tsunoda's down the inside. It's going to be inside for this corner. But he's already well clear, so Tsunoda takes that place quite definitively. Meanwhile, Ricciardo has dropped back a little bit from Bottas, unfortunately. He is no longer feeling on peak form, which means he is now within reach of Magnussen, who is going to try and use the DRS advantage to get past. Ricciardo's doing a little bit of defensive maneuvers here. But very slowly we are eking out this gap to Valtteri Bottas once again. Coming into another DRS zone here. Bottas gets the DRS as well, but Ricciardo's actually got quite a good run. He tries to get alongside, but unfortunately Bottas shuts that door. And Ricciardo, our poor boy Ricciardo, is slightly frustrated by the attempt. Try and nab some good screenshot. Oh, okay, never mind. I was gonna say try and grab some good screenshots while the timing is good. Doop. There we go. That's a nice one there.
Magnussen has DRS.
This is so interesting from Aerosmith. Aerosmith is quite definitively keeping Sargent behind. And Gasly isn't pulling away as much as I expected. Yes, he is out of DRS range, but he's holding steady at currently 2 seconds ahead of Aerosmith, which is quite interesting. And just as I say that, Sargent does finally, after 9 laps, find a way past Aerosmith. And that is using the first DRS zone of the lap. So not necessarily particularly surprising. But if Aerosmith can hold on to the back of Sargent as they come around here. In fact, she's got the DRS detection, so she should now be able to use the DRS when they come into the zone, which is now. She does indeed use it. We'll see if she can close up that gap. These guys are not in the same race as us, so if we can make them use and abuse their tires, this is for the best. In terms of their tire strategy, both Gasly and Sargent have had to use more tires than almost anyone else on the track, with the exception of Perez. So if this wasn't in their if this wasn't part of their strategy plan, it certainly is now. And in fact, Gasly seems to have had a shocker. Sargent has caught right up onto the back of Gasly, and Aerosmith, by virtue of the DRS, has been brought to the back of the both of them as well. So this fight definitely isn't over for Aerosmith. This is quite interesting. Up at the position 14 neck of the woods, Ricciardo is once again fighting off Kevin Magnussen. I am ever so slightly cautious about Ricciardo's...
Quite a lot of vibration.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's tire or brakes.
I may have to consider pulling Ricciardo in, because these tires are hotter than I want them to be, whereas Aerosmith is exactly on strategy, which is pretty good. Here we go. Ricciardo is once again onto the back of Valtteri Bottas. The DRS is open. Let's see if Ricciardo can make anything of it. Doesn't seem to be the case, unfortunately, but he'll have DRS for the start-finish straight again. This gaggle, the RB Aston Martin gaggle, is once again alive and well. Let's see if we can't pick somebody to do some interesting things. Let's see what Yuki Tsunoda has to say about the situation as they come into the final start-finish straight. DRS is open. Cars are absolutely everywhere. We can see Ricciardo in the background trying to follow on, but unfortunately, despite everything, nobody can make anything happen. Bottas, interestingly, was right onto the tail of Iwasa very, very briefly, but unfortunately couldn't make it past. Carlos Sainz, despite his apparent issues, has managed to claw one place back to get into 7th place, and as well, I guess at the end of lap 10 on to lap 11 now, Verstappen is in the lead of the race, followed by Lando Norris this time, who is 2 seconds to the good of Charles Leclerc, fighting off Perez in what is fast becoming a very scuffed set of soft tyres. George Russell is in 5th, having dropped Hamilton all the way back down to 8th. Good grief, they were fighting for position at one point. Piastri is in 6th, hounding down George Russell. 7th, oh, actually, hang on a minute. I think we're just seeing a side-by-side little fight here. It's Piastri and Russell side-by-side coming around the final corner. George Russell still has a little bit of an overlap, but Piastri has in effect gained the position as they come over the line. It's going to be down to George Russell to see what he can do, but Piastri has the DRS and Russell doesn't. So this puts him in a really tricky spot. And because it's a double DRS zone, yep, there we go. And Aerosmith
Let's have a look at that.
has got
So
past
let's follow
Gasly.
the action going into turn 12.
Look at
The
this one.
opportunity's there.
So that is coming out of the end of the
That move puts
third
them in 21st.
DRS. Oh my god, okay, that was a bit naughty, running them quite wide. So Aerosmith's now up to 21st place, and to be honest, Sargent and Magnussen's tyres are very, very close to hitting the cliff. This is putting us in a really, really good position to continue managing this race. Our big worry is Daniel Ricciardo's overheating tyres. He is burning those tyres a lot faster than we necessarily would expect. I'm going to change our top-up mode to our ERS mode to top-up. Try and get some juice in so that if we get some decisive overtakes later on, we can really back up our drivers in doing so. Bottas has found a way past Iwasa, and Ricciardo is right on the tail of Iwasa as they come out of the third DRS zone of the lap, fighting off a charge from Esteban Ocon. They are side by side. Ocon's going to have the inside, but Ricciardo has the position. And we'll see if Daniel Ricciardo can close that door down, which indeed he can. They've got the DRS detection here, and Hulkenberg is diving into the pits. I am quite worried about Daniel Ricciardo's tires here. This isn't great. And Aerosmith gets past Zhao. Okay, that wasn't in my bingo card. Let's see how it happened. Oh, wow, okay. Wow, so 2 cars sneak past Zhao, 1 on each side. That is definitely a bold overtake. But that does put Aerosmith up into 19th. And we've come into the pit lane here. I've got to be honest, I'm not too happy about it. I want to bug out of this fight. Yeah, I actually want to bug out of this fight. So we're going to come in early. We're going to make the call. Come in early for these hard tires. So burn them. Give everything that you've got. Burn, burn, burn. And wait, hang on. Aerosmith overtook Sargent. So Aerosmith's now found her way up into 17th place by complete accident. Okay. That's fine. So Ricciardo's still holding well on to 14th place, but I want to get the undercut. I want to get off of these soft tires basically as quickly as I can. So let's see how this goes. So Ricciardo's going to hold on to this position. We're going to have no theatrics for the moment. We don't need to. No need to risk a spicy overtake. So we're coming into the pits now, and a few cars are joining us, so we're not going to get that much of an undercut. But let's see how this goes. So in terms of my listings, we've brought Ricciardo in on lap 14. Let's check the timer. 2.8, but we're blocked by a car. We got... So there was a problem for Yuki Tsunoda. But unfortunately, we also got held up by Bottas. So our stop wasn't too bad, but we couldn't be released because of Valtteri Bottas. So we're now onto a new set of hard tires. So let's go to top up and let's see what we can make out of this segment here. Aerosmith is currently holding on quite well, up in 13th place. And she's broken the toe to Gasly. That wasn't in my bingo card. Gasly does have the soft tires, which are rapidly approaching the cliff. And Logan Sargent down in 16th place has hit the cliff. His performance is going to be dropping off significantly. Safety car. Okay, fuck. Safety car. Where is Aerosmith? Okay, safety car has come out for some reason or another. So we're going to go to 1x and let's box.
Safety car, safety car.
Let's box.
Charge on, charge on.
To a new set of softs.
Okay.
And you can keep working with your brakes to help your tires.
There's a yellow flag now.
So
Let's take a
Iwasa,
look at the replay.
Ayumi
Right, here's the
Iwasa
action
has
at turn
crashed.
10.
Let's see how this happened. Oh, he just
And unable
absolutely
to do
lost it.
anything about that crash.
And it's
That's
right in the
one
middle of the track as
surefire
well. So
way
yeah,
to
that's...
put a dampener on your weekend.
Yeah, that is the safety car every day of the week. So the safety car is coming out. We have just done a pit stop onto the hards. So I'm happy for Ricciardo to remain in position. So, conserve, harvest. Conserve, harvest.
We have to protect those tires.
So everyone is coming in.
Understood.
Who hasn't pitted, with the exception of Verstappen, which I think is actually a bold choice. Aerosmith is definitely coming in. So let's see how her pit stop goes in regards to everyone else. So we're under safety car conditions here for the moment. Let's see how our pit stop goes. I really hope we don't get blocked by anyone, because this could be unfortunate. This is what happened to Ricciardo. That is a fast stop, and it's a clean exit. Fast stop, clean exit, huge. Absolutely huge.
They're okay.
2.61.
Follow the line of the car in front as much as you can to avoid debris.
Aerosmith was so fast she came out in front of Ricardo? Oh my god, that's insane. That is insane. What a pit stop difference that is. Okay, let's conserve these tires and try and build up what we can. So we're now under safety car conditions. Safety car is in pit lane waiting to pick up the leader. Iwasa thankfully didn't take any cars out in the process. So we are now going to be awaiting these cars. So the leaders did in fact take their pit stops after the safety car. So we're going to wait for everybody to bunch up. We're going to skip through the safety car period because not very much happens. Unless I want to grab some screenshots, but I'm not necessarily sure I do. It's looking kind of foggy here, all things considered, actually. Oh, look at this. Look at this little jamboree of cars. Oh, that's not what I wanted. The safety car is so slow. This actually happens in Formula 1, by the way. People complain about the safety car speed all of the fucking time. There we go, my two cars together. Look at that. It is under safety car conditions, but still. Okay, let's just continue harvesting as much as we can. We haven't got word from race control. The safety car is coming in. Crash recovery is virtual, so the car is no longer on track anymore. Okay, safety car is coming in. So let's go to aggressive, to push, deploy. Aggressive, push.
You're good to push.
Before the safety car comes in, we need to actually sort this strategy out because we brought Aerosmith in so early. The game is actually a little bit confused. I think actually if we soften down... No, actually... Okay, I might just have to double stop at Aerosmith. So we'll go on to a new set of softs here. Probably towards the end. Let's bump you up a little bit. Okay, let's call that a strategy for Aerosmith. And we'll see how we go with this one. Okay, so we've got enough fuel. We don't have to worry about fuel conservation anymore.
Understood.
So let's get ready on this one. So Verstappen is in the lead. The safety car has pulled away. Safety car boards and flags are still out. Safety car is in, but Verstappen controls the pace until they cross the start-finish line. So Verstappen's still holding on. Still holding on, and he's going, he's going, he's going. He has not left Charles Leclerc sleeping. Leclerc is pretty much right on his tail. They come around the start-finish straight to take the green flag, and immediately Charles Leclerc has got a run. Potentially for the lead of this race. It looked like he was almost side by side for a second, but back out of it coming into the corner. But the eyes are going to be on our drivers down in 16th and 17th places. Let's see what we can make of this. Aerosmith is going down the inside of Hulkenberg. Pushes him wide. Aerosmith keeps doing this. She could potentially get an unsportsmanlike if she keeps doing this. It's the third time she's done this, I think, this season so far. Nevertheless, Aerosmith is currently the only one on the soft tires. So I have potentially fucked up the strategy with her, but we do need to make this one work. DRS is not enabled for the first lap after a safety car, so any overtakes that are made are done purely on merit. Ricardo is fighting off against Pierre Gasly on his ever so slightly softer tires. Gasly comes down the inside, and that's a pretty clean overtake.
We are very happy with the tires.
Unfortunately, not too much that we can do about that one. We're going to follow on with Aerosmith. So DRS is going to be available now, but they're not going to get it until they hit the DRS zone halfway around the lap. And so we've had a bit of a reversal here. Aerosmith is up into 15th place, where before she was towards the end, and Ricardo is down in 18th place. So Aerosmith's use of the hard tire was actually pretty good, all things considered. I very almost have regrets about taking her off them, actually. She seemed to do really well on those hard tyres. Ricciardo, on the other hand, is riding the struggle bus. The weather is changing here in Albert Park. We do have cloud cover in the skies, and we now have a 5% chance of rain, which is slightly worrying me a little bit.
Yep,
Track
that's it.
condition. Okay, 5% chance of rain, but nothing concrete for the foreseeable future, which is hopefully going to remain the case. Okay, Ricciardo, we are going to put into top up mode for our ERS, and we're going to remain burning the fuel that we have. Aerosmith, how are we doing? I kind of want Aerosmith to keep burning ERS. I want to try and find a way past Valtteri Bottas if we can. We're the only person in the soft tires, so we ideally need to make gains. We need to make mad gains. As it stands right now, we've got a little bit of side-by-side actions between the Alpine and the Haas cars. Oh, it's almost 3 wide. Jesus Christ, almost 3 wide. And Aerosmith does find a way past Bottas. Does very almost find a way past Bottas. And there's some more shenaniganry going on in front of us. Aerosmith is in peak performance. Let's see. I think this was a DRS pass. Let's see how it happened.
Turn 3.
There we go.
The
Yep.
gap
So
opens up for them.
actually, her DRS closed. So she hit the brakes in response to Bottas blocking her, but nevertheless, she still had enough overrun, despite the DRS being closed, to sneak her way past, which is pretty huge. So Aerosmith up into 14th place, and Ricciardo is fighting off Yuki Tsunoda for 18th. This is quite interesting. We are, however, out of ERS, so let's go to top-up mode for Aerosmith. It's going to be down to Aerosmith under the DRS. Actually, that was Ricciardo that we were watching. So hard tyre against medium watt tyre. Ricciardo is trying to find a way past Pierre Gasly, but that isn't really happening. And unfortunately, Ricciardo drops the place as Yuki Tsunoda does sneak a way past on the inside. We watched that one happen, so we don't need to see the replay there.
This is my pace.
This is my pace. Okay, let's chill on these hard tires a little bit.
Sergeant behind you.
Because they are
Okay, maximum
overheating.
focus on cooling down those rear tires.
Okay.
And likewise, let's focus on cooling the tires for Aerosmith as well. I think we've done what we can here. One thing I'm curious to see strategy-wise, if we go to you, so this is a 1:15:28. What can we do if we do this? Okay, if we do a soft stop and then look after our tires, we can potentially take 2 seconds off of our race time. So let's just try this. Let's full conserve these tires. We're burning fuel. We can give ERS as needed. But let's see if we can do this strategy to reduce this from a potential 3-stop down to a 2-stop. Let's just see what we can't get away with. So Ricciardo ideally really needs to start trying to find a way past Yuki Tsunoda here. Aerosmith is probably going to end up losing positions here, given that we've told her to chill on her tires. But it's acceptable. It's acceptable. Remember, in terms of final race order, we're probably expecting Ricciardo to end up about 16th. And Aerosmith to probably end up 19th, I think. So I think they will end up swapping positions again. But let's see how it happens. So let's really cool off on these tires. and see what we can make happen. So at the end of the first couple of laps post safety car, we have Charles Leclerc in the lead of this race, being absolutely handed down by Max Verstappen, who has set the fastest lap of this race. Oscar Piastri is 3 seconds adrift, leading an absolute freight train of Perez, Sainz, Russell, Norris, Lance Stroll, Hamilton and Alonso. Alexander Albon is 6 seconds off the pace in 11th, basically fighting this massive gaggle of cars that takes us almost to the end. So we've got Magnussen, Ocon, Aerosmith, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ricciardo and Sargent are all in this fight for 11th place, with Zhao a second and a half back. This is pretty messy for Albon. Albon is fighting for his life here. He is absolutely fighting for his life, Jesus. Oh, that is a very angry gaggle of cars. Albon's got cars on his left, cars on his right. And here he is, stuck in the middle with you. Aerosmith in 14th place is sitting there watching this situation quite eagerly, seeing if she can't find a way to take advantage of the situation. And Ricciardo is still head scratching back in 19th place on his hard tires, trying to find a way past, but not really being able to make quite anything work at all. As cloudy as it is, we're not particularly rocking any increased chance of rain, which is alright in my book. There was a bit of a hold up there. It looked like Ricciardo might have been able to make some gains, but instead he had to try and protect himself from Sargent, who was trying an overtake. And Sargent is really running ragged around Ricciardo here. So both of our drivers are holding on to their tyre strategies as expected. Okay, we've had a failed overtake for Aerosmith. So despite the fact that we have told her to chill on her tyre use, she is still trying to fight for positions. We did see an attempted overtake between Albon and Ocon for 11th position. Ocon unfortunately can't make it work and has to drop back. Aerosmith meanwhile is right on the tail of Kevin Magnussen. We'll see as they come into the double DRS zone if she can make anything work. Her DRS is open, but Magnussen's DRS is also open, slightly cancelling out that advantage. So it's going to be who has a run on who. Aerosmith sticks to his rear wing coming into the first DRS zone. Magnussen is right on the tail of Ocon, but nobody seems willing to make a bit of a move. I'm actually now not sure that my cars are going to get lapped, so so what are we on? We're on lap. So lap 25 plus 20 delta 3 60 divided by 3 is 30 laps. Yeah, okay. If my drivers are going to be lapped, then they are going to be lapped in the final couple of laps of this race. Doing very, very quick maths, I think that is pretty much how it's going to look. So at the moment I'm on a 0 strategy, whereas I started the race on a -1 strategy. So I need to pay attention to that in the context of my fuel use. Let's go back to interval mode. Ricciardo went to 0-0-0. Like Ricciardo was briefly attempting an overtake on Yuki Tsunoda, but wasn't really able to make it happen. Ricciardo's tires are holding on well, so we're on track for a lap 40. Exchange. And our strategy for Aerosmith is a lap. Okay. Fucking hell.
Okay, I had a lot
That's
of-
reds. That's not good.
Okay, keep it clean. Focus on the pace.
That is messy. So the red flags are out. Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened there? I guess we'll get to see the red flags in a minute. Jesus Christ. Okay, that unfortunately is going to be our first DNF, I reckon. So red flags are out. Let's see what happened. So it's Pierre Gasly. Oh, he just gets hit. And Ricardo said he had a lockup, so...
Oh my.
I wonder if that was Ricardo that locked up and hit into the back of him.
And clearly
So that's
they're not
4
what everyone in the
cars.
garage would have wanted to see.
4 cars out potentially. Oh, beans. So Ricardo is retired and Aerosmith is up into 14th place. Oh, this is not good. If I go onto the mediums here, I do not think that we can hold on to the end of the race on these mediums. I don't think we can. I think we need to start on... I don't want to start on this scuffed set of tires. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do strategy conflict. So we're gonna start on a fresh set of softs, and we'll just redo her strategy. So Ricardo is out. Don't have to worry about him anymore. And yeah, Jesus Christ, a lot of drivers out there. That is unfortunate.
Positions again. Once more, they're ready to race. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Okay, attack and deploy, attack and deploy, attack and deploy. Let's see if Aerosmith can't find her way past, but she's dropping places like a stone. Jesus Christ. And it was Ricardo. Ricardo caused a major collision, so his lockup cost us that entire race. Okay, let's go into strategy view real quick. So we're going to need to edit the strategy, and we are going to want to go onto the mediums at some point. So if we do a normal tire use, fine, I think we're quite happy with this. So the good news is, as long as Aerosmith finishes the race, she is going to get her better than 20th position. But this is going to be an expensive repair for our car, unfortunately. Okay, let's just go back to normal tire use because we need to hold on to this strategy the best way that we can. So it's a full race restart, effective. Well, not a full race restart, but it is a full gridded restart. With everyone in position, and unfortunately Aerosmith, who took the red flag in 14th place, is now down to 17th place, so that's a big loss for us, unfortunately. And yeah, that's a big yikes for Daniel Ricciardo, unfortunately. We are failing to get past Logan Sargent, which does mean that we are in a bit of a shitty position. So it does actually look like these guys are going to be going, so the ones on the hard tire now, I expect, are going to be going until the end of the race. Somehow Carlos Sainz in his injured Ferrari is in first place. Not quite sure how that happened. Let's see if Max Verstappen can take that place back. At the moment he is riding the struggle bus like a champ. But the good news is the weather has cleared up. There's now a 0% chance of rain, so this is pretty good. Oh, and Aerosmith finds a way past. So we missed that one. Let's go ahead and see how it happened.
See what happened. Right, let's have a look as we go into turn 4.
So this is on merit. She takes the outside line, which is going to give her the inside line for turn 5, and she just secures that place. Huge. Huge. So she is making ground. Aerosmith is our Lord and Savior here, so we really need her to have a good run. So everybody on the softs, I expect, is going to have to pit again. Everybody in the hards is going to the end of the race. Everybody on the mediums, I think, is actually going to have to pit again. I don't see the mediums going to the end of the race because it was what I considered, and it just didn't really happen. So there's now 4 cars out of this race as a result of that collision, unfortunately. Yeah, Ricardo is probably going to get penalised ahead of the next race for that, since he can't take his penalty in this race. It's probably going to form a grid penalty at the next race. We'll have to see how that goes. So fuel use definitely isn't an issue anymore after one safety car and one red flag. We are just going to be monitoring this one. The Ferraris, for the first time in this race, are now 1 and 2 of this race. Leclerc has got an advantage, whereas Leclerc has taken the lead of this race from Carlos Sainz. Sainz, with his injured Ferrari, is holding off Max Verstappen. I suppose they are on the softs where Verstappen is on the hard. That does make sense why they got past. George Russell in 4th, with Lando Norris in 5th. Perez is in 6th and Piastri in 7th. Everyone is kind of nose to tail at the moment. Hamilton is in 8th place and has got a 2-second gap to Alexander Albon in 9th. Kevin Magnussen is hunting him down in 10th, with Stroll, Alonso, Hulkenberg behind. Bottas is 1.3 seconds behind. And Ocon is chasing him down, as is Aerosmith, as is Sargent, and as is Zhao. So that is basically the race order as we pass, as we just come to end lap 30, which takes us well over the halfway mark of this race. And Charles Leclerc in number 1 position with nothing but clear air in front of him sets a new, is it a world record? No, it's not. It might be a new lap record. It's very close to it if it isn't. But Charles Leclerc sets the fastest lap of this race that may or may not be a new lap record. But for just now, we're going to be focused on our driver as we see what we can do. So we're just going to keep burning through this engine for the moment. And this puts us into a shit position pretty early on in the season, because this means that we are going to have to worry about rebuilding a car. Oh god, there was a spectator in the background who was rocking. God, I thought I heard tires screeching there. Jesus Christ, I thought we were going to have another crash. There was a spectator in the background there that had like 3 animation frames per minute. It was horrific. Oh, once again, the Aston Martins are side by side, and Lance Stroll takes a lunge down Alexander Albon to take 10th place from him. They are side by side once again. Can Alonso do anything to join his teammate? No, not only that, but Albon finds a way past. And George Russell now takes the fastest lap with a 1:19.6, which is decidedly a new lap record here at Albert Park. Just keeping an eye on our driver at the moment. Things are still very, very close all across this race. Oh. Aerosmith has gone side by side with Esteban Ocon, and she has eked away past him to take 15th place, which is huge. So this now gains us 1 position and puts us within touching distance of Valtteri Bottas. Bottas is running the hard tyre, so ideally we should hopefully be able to find a way past him. It just depends on how quickly we can make that happen. We can see that Esteban Ocon has dropped quite a bit off of the back of Aerosmith, and Aerosmith has caught up fairly well to the back of Bottas. Meanwhile, the Aston Martins, this Aston Martin on Aston Martin battle has basically been the theme of this entire race here at Albert Park, with both Alonso and Lance Stroll just constantly fighting for position, usually at the end of every lap, and usually every single lap. Now this isn't good for us, because we've now got a Haas and a Williams in the points, which is going to make this season very, very hard for my team. I think Williams already had points, but we wanted to avoid Haas getting points at this juncture. This kind of does actually put us in quite a shitty position, unfortunately. As for us, we're still holding on to these tyres. Pretty happy with this one. Going to put us to neutral ERS use. My goodness, Aerosmith is right on the back of Valtteri Bottas. We're coming into the second DRS detection zone, so this is going to give us double DRS. We're coming into the first DRS sector now as Ocon tries to make a move. DRS opens, and we are trying to hunt down the tail end of Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri does not have DRS, so this hands a huge advantage to Aerosmith. We're into the second DRS zone now, so let's see if Aerosmith can use this to catch up very much to the back of Bottas, although Ocon also got a very, very good run out there. And unfortunately, there is nothing that Aerosmith can do. We're into the final DRS detection zone here, so this is going to give the Aerosmith the double DRS zone, but Bottas did catch up enough to get DRS, so that is going to nullify Aerosmith's advantage. Meanwhile, now taking the lead of this race is Lando Norris, who beats the lap record by a second and a half, over a second and a half actually, to take the lead of this race, which is very, very huge for the McLaren driver. Aerosmith is... Where are we on the lap? So we're just coming out of the opening complex, where the Albert Park circuit starts to open up into a series of high-speed corners. Have to see how we can try and make the most of this. Aerosmith is once again actually onto the back of Valtteri Bottas. She is going to take the DRS zone, and unlike last lap, this lap both Bottas and Aerosmith are going to get DRS, so it is going to be down to merit alone to see if Aerosmith can find a way past. Can't do it at the first DRS zone. Coming up to the second DRS zone, DRS opens, and we can see that Bottas has eked out something of an advantage. Once again, the Aston Martins are fighting with people, left, right and centred. But they have at least been split up this time. They've been split by a Williams and a Haas. This isn't good for us. This isn't good for us. We need to keep Williams. Williams and Haas are the two teams that are most likely to get into the points that we don't want to be in the points. Sauber, Alpine and... Sauber, Alpine and Haas actually are the ones that we want to keep out of the points. If we can keep them out of the points, then we get our season objective. If they consistently score points, then we are a little bit fucked, unfortunately. Okay, the race is starting to string out a little bit. We do see a fight for third place between Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Max Verstappen and Perez. Oh, and Piastri actually. This is quite a freight train that I didn't quite appreciate. Alonso is actually on his own at the moment. He is 6 seconds behind Hamilton and 2 seconds ahead of Hülkenberg in 10th. And Hülkenberg is currently leading the freight train of literally 10th to 18th. So we'll have to see how this goes. Albon tried to find a way past Magnussen there, but couldn't quite make it work. So the two Hasses are together, 10th and 11th. And Aerosmith, bless her little cotton socks, is currently not making too much in the way of progress against Valtteri Bottas. I say that, but she is right on the rear bumper of Bottas. If she can get a good run out of this corner, she comes into the DRS zone again. DRS opens, but so does Bottas's. Can she do anything to catch up to the back of him? No, she drops back. That is unfortunate. We're holding on. Oh, Jesus Christ, that sounded like a tire screech again. Ah, oh, Jesus Christ. Watching British racing, you typically, from the commentary booth, you can hear tire screeching in the distance, and you usually know that there's been an accident or an incident, probably before the cameras actually like pan to it. I don't know how it actually works, but I assume that every cameraman must have like a button somewhere that basically says something interesting is happening in my camera, that sends it through to the television control, and then the controller sees the thing that's interesting and then cuts to that footage. So you know, that all takes a little bit of time. So yeah, when I watch British racing, you do quite often hear that tire screech, and then like 3 seconds later it pans to a camera of a car that's like spun out into the gravel somewhere. Okay, so we've entered into our pit window for Aerosmith. I'm actually going to top us up in terms of ERS. So we're going to have to start making our pit stop fairly soon. I do want to hold on to these tires the best that I can. I want to do a lap assessment. So we are 21 seconds ahead of the leader, which means they are 59 seconds behind us. And the lap delta is currently 2 seconds. So that is roughly 30 laps, which means we will remain at the moment, at the pace the leaders are going, we will remain on the lead lap when we pit. We will remain on the lead lap until the end of the race, which means we're working to a fuel delta 0, but we're plus 4.8, so I highly doubt we're going to have to worry about this at all during the race. I want to see something. Is there a world where we put on a fresh set of softs? Because we've used 2 different dry compounds. So if we do this. No, okay, you need to be here. And so if we do this, no, it needs to be here-ish. So that's a 32 versus a 30. No, okay, we stick to plan A. Stick to plan A. Stick to plan A. Fine. Fine. So yeah, my lap delta calculation says that we will not get, unless something happens, we do not get lapped before the end of the race. We would get lapped at lap 68 based on a very, very rapid calculation. Let's see what we can do for Aerosmith here. Let's try and get a nice wee screeny of our car. Nice pretty car that it is. Hulkenberg's tires have hit the cliff. This could be interesting because this is right at the beginning of the lap. So if he's planning on pitting this lap, he is going to be riding the struggle bus like a champion. He is actually going to hold up significantly Stroll, Albon and Bottas, which may give Aerosmith some kind of chance to get past. So below 30% the tires hit the cliff, which is where they are still intact as a carcass, but they drop off significantly in terms of performance. And already less than 1/3 of the lap later, we can see that Stroll and Albon are absolutely hounding the back of him. But can they do anything about it? That is going to be the question. And also the other question is Hulkenberg going to pit at the end of this lap? It will remain to be seen. It will very much remain to be seen. Oh, he's down at 25%. Hulkenberg has to come in here. He has to come in. And indeed he is. There he is. He dives into the pit. Yep, there it is. There it is. We're still on track for a lap 40 pit stop onto the mediums. A good Scottish medium spelled with a J. I don't think we'll particularly be able to undercut any cars, but it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Now, as I said, I'm expecting the hard tire runners to go until the end of the race. It's everyone who's on the softs and mediums that is going to have to pit again. Hang on a minute, I have a dumb idea. I have a fucking dumb idea. Okay. So let's say we pit at lap 40 and go back onto the scuffed set of hards. No, okay, that doesn't work. Fine. If we had a fresh set of hards, that would have been fine. But no, we're still going onto the medium set. Fine. Okay, fine. So Bottas has now pulled away quite a fair bit from Aerosmith. So we're not eking out any particular advantage by remaining on these soft tires. So I do want to pit, and I want to pit soon. We're going to go onto the medium tires, but yeah, it needs to be on our lap 40. Bearing in mind the leaders are quite far ahead. Look at that gap between the Ferraris. That is... So first and second are battling for position, and third is 11 seconds. behind. That's ridiculous. Oh, Aerosmith
Here's
lost
the
2
replay.
positions. Jesus Christ, how the
Now
fuck
we're
did
at
that
turn
happen?
11 now. The
I looked away for
opportunity
1
begging to be
second.
taken.
So this is a DRS zone, and they just come around her. Wow, they just completely come around her. That is unfortunate. It's fine, I think Bottas lost 2 positions there as well, so that's not the worst thing in the world. So Aerosmith's gone from 14th down to 16th, and as we cross the start-finish line... Okay, I want Aerosmith in. Let's get onto this set of mediums, and this will take us to the end of the race. So let's pit this lap, let's get it done. Burn what rubber you have, deploy. Let's try and fuck up some other people's races while we try and figure this one out. So Piastri came into the pit and is back out on a set of mediums. So this is the front running soft runner starting to come in for their pit stops. We're literally just going to burn out what rubber we have left to try and make it back into the pits. And then this will see us through until the end of this race. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, right, sorry, I looked away for 1 second, and Aerosmith yeets her way back up into 14th place, which gives her the perfect finish here to head into the pits for her pit stop. Now, we had a frighteningly quick pit stop for Raven Aerosmith earlier on. Let's see what this one is. If we are going to result well in this race at all, then the result of this is going to be quite determinative. Let's see how we go. So 2.6 was Aerosmith's last stop. So 2.9, it's not 0.3 seconds slower, but it's not a catastrophic failure. We can absolutely, definitely take that one. So we're going to hold on to these tires. And now that we are stone dead last, I'm actually just going to full harvest. Full harvest for now for Aerosmith. Yeah, okay. So Zhao is definitely going to come out behind us. What are we? 21 seconds. So Zhao is going to come out behind us. 17, 18, 3, 21. Okay, so we're going to be fighting with Magnussen when Magnussen pits again, but Alonso will be in front of us, Sainz will be in front of us. Okay, so we potentially are looking at a 16th place finish, which is effectively what I predicted earlier. Remember, we're already above our 20th place reward, so we're still going to get our reward so long as Aerosmith finishes, but the better we can do, the better it will be for us in the long run. So as we are on lap 42, we have Charles Leclerc, who has regained the lead of this race from Lando Norris, who's now a second and a half adrift. Perez is in third place, 10 seconds behind Norris, with Max Verstappen hunting him down in fourth. Hamilton is on his absolute stormin' in fifth. He's getting ready for his pit stop on the soft tyres. Russell is in sixth on the medium. He will be stopping before the end of this race. Alonso is the highest place, Aston Martin in seventh, who's also getting ready for a pit stop. And Bottas is in eighth. This is a big problem for us. This is a huge problem for us. Bottas scoring points fucks us up massively. Actually, so does Williams, to be honest. This race is not good news for us at all. Albon in 9th and Sargent in 10th. Carlos Sainz, after taking his pit stop onto the soft tyres, is trying to regain ground down in 11th, with Lance Stroll looking at the back end of the Ferrari in what is quite a huge, unusual set of circumstances. Ocon is 11th, Magnussen 4th. No, Ocon is 13th, and Magnussen is 14th. Zhao is 15th, Piastri is 16th, and 11 seconds behind him is Hülkenberg. Aerosmith is absolutely at the tail of this in 18th place. Hamilton takes his pit stop and is actually going to come out in 16th place. This is a kind of rough time to be taking pit stops. I wonder actually if we can hold on. No, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose more time than necessary. So Zhao's going to end up behind this. Magnussen is definitely going to end up behind us. There we go. There's Piastri getting past. Esteban Ocon's... You know, I actually said that the hard tyre guys were going to have to pit again. Some of... weren't going to have to pit again, but some of them definitely are. Ocon definitely has to pit again. I'm actually unsure about people like Bottas. God, it's going to be a hard ask. I think it's going to be a real hard ask for Bottas to get to the end of this. Verstappen and Perez are fine. But yeah, I think this is going to be a fairly hard ask. We're going to bump up the speed just a little bit. Because there's some squabbles going on across the field, but there's nothing that particularly interests us at the moment. People are slowly starting to string out. And yeah, I don't know. So we're at 15 laps to go. And Bottas is dropping 2%. Bottas is dropping 2% per lap of his tires. Which basically means with 14 laps to go is 28% off. So that puts him off the cliff. He is off the cliff. I do not see Bottas getting to the end of this race, so this could mix things up significantly. More importantly, though, Magnussen is in the pit, as is Zhao. So we have to see how these guys go. The Williams of Alexander Albon is in the pit, and he got delayed by the cars coming in. So this might hand, this might hand a bit of an advantage to Aerosmith, but actually it totally doesn't. Purely because of how far back we were.
Oh dear, that's
Oh, and Zhao has an issue as well. God, that's going to hurt him in his race. Is this not the second time that Zhao had an issue? No, it was Yuki Tsunoda. So they couldn't get that tire off. That was really unfortunate. That puts Zhao. He's still in the pit lane. Jesus Christ. Okay. Magnussen, I do see a world where Magnussen gets past Aerosmith, but Zhao, I think he might be hard pressed to get past Aerosmith. In terms of our hard runners, Hulkenberg is going to the end. Ocon is definitely pitting again, and I'm going to call it now that Sargent and Bottas are going to be pitting again. I think they definitely have to pit again. So we'll have to see how this goes. Looks like Hamilton was attempting a little bit of a maneuver there to get past Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton should be able to make this work. He is in a faster car in the Mercedes and has newer and softer tyres than Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton's race is currently getting absolutely ganked, but he's got the DRS zone here. Let's see if he can make his way past. DRS is going to open for Hamilton. Hamilton is choosing to stick behind Bottas though. It's a bit of a bold choice, but he's possibly setting himself up for a move into turn 4. So it's a double DRS zone. DRS opens again, and immediately he dives down the inside. But can he actually get past? He can, and he almost loses a position to Sargent in the process, which is interesting. Yeah, we really need these Saubers not to score points for our season. Like, you know, as a commentator, I shouldn't be particularly biased. However, I also am a team principal, so... okay, so Logan Sargent is... Logan Sargent is deeply involved in this scrap between Hamilton and Bottas. Hamilton's race is getting absolutely ganked by this whole encounter. Stroll and Sainz are going to be laughing that that Hamilton is being confined so far behind. Hamilton's still desperately trying to find a way past, but he can, and Sargent got alongside him there. Sargent in his scuffed-ass tyres is desperately trying to find a way past Hamilton, and alarmingly for Hamilton is almost making it work. Oscar Piastri has finally caught up to the back of this train, So we have to see how this goes in terms of fight. Yeah, this is the big fight here. I suppose there is another one here between Aerosmith and Magnussen. Magnussen is on newer and softer tires, so we do expect him to try and find a way past during this race. But our main source of interest is this battle here between Hamilton, Bottas, Sargent and Piastri. So Hamilton has finally found his way past Valtteri Bottas, but has burned a good bit of tires doing so. Charles Leclerc in the lead of this race is going to have to come in for a pit stop again. Kevin Magnussen found a way past Aerosmith on the first DRS zone. That's not entirely unexpected. And it's going to be keeping Zhao behind is the main issue. Ocon will be pitting soon. As will Sargent and as will Bottas. Charles Leclerc make his pit stop from the lead of this race. He's in, he's had his pit stop, he's back out. Where does he come out? He comes out in 4th place. He's going to be onto a set of softs, I am willing to bet, and I saw the red wallet is indeed softs. He's actually gone onto a set of scuffed softs, which is interesting, but he does still have more soft tire life than the rest of them, so this is going to be pretty ambitious. So we are burning fuel as fast as we can. We have a bit of tire life to give. And we have been holding on to our ERS to use should Zhao catch up to us. The reason I didn't use it for Magnussen was because I had a feeling that was going to be a lost cause. And as you can see, Aerosmith is already like 2 seconds adrift. So yeah, it was never a big priority to keep Magnussen behind us. Yeah, we want to conserve our resources for when Ocon, Sargent and Bottas pit, and yeah, I am so sure that they are definitely going to pit again. For the lead of this race, so the Red Bull racing cars of Max Verstappen and Perez take 1st and 2nd respectively, and they are going to be probably squabbling for the lead of this race until the very end. We now have 10 laps to go. Esteban Ocon has developed a mechanical fault. We'll see if we can hear over the team radio what's gone on.
Deployment.
Okay, sounds like an ERS deployment issue. So Esteban Ocon's ERS deployment has become a little bit fucky wucky. So not only is his tires fucked, but his ERS is screwed up as well. So Fernando Alonso does easily find a way past Esteban Ocon as a result. Let's see if Ocon pits here. If this was my team, I would have him pit here. And indeed he dives into the pit. Yep, here we go. So he's going to change onto a set of fresh tires, which should put him behind Aerosmith, who is coming out into the start-finish straight. It's a new set of softs that are going on. So out comes Esteban Ocon. In fact, is Zhao even going to get past? Oh, yeah. Okay, so Ocon comes out stone dead last. Okay, didn't necessarily forecast that one. And with 10 laps to go, really tempted to just start using our ERS a little bit more to start eking out gaps. Yeah, fuck it, let's just do it. So we're gonna go full deploy on the ERS. We're gonna hold on to our tires for as much as we can. We want to try and preserve the life as much as we can. Fuel is not an issue at this point. After one safety car and one red flag, fuel is not an issue. The battle for first place has become a 4-way battle between Perez, Verstappen, Norris and Leclerc. So this is going to prove quite wild. Russell has dived into the pit for another set of soft tires. I don't know if I had him on my pitting cards again, although I've mostly been paying attention to these two, who are definitely going to be pitting again, just not this lap. So yeah, this battle for first place has suddenly, very suddenly become a 4-way battle between the two Red Bull cars who are trying to eke it out to the end on the hard tires, and the two, the McLaren and the Ferrari, who have gone onto softer tires not too long ago. Lando Norris has once again set the fastest lap of the race, and the lap record has been beat by 1.6 seconds, which is pretty huge running. Wasn't sure why Ocon was showing as not having done this one. Let's see here. Yeah, these guys on the hard tire are going to have to be going into the pit lane quite imminently. So we do want to hold on to tire life, but we want as best as possible to close up to the back of Magnussen so that when Bottas and Sargent pit, we do find a way past to get 14th place. We were forecasting 16th, which is where Aerosmith is now, but that was before the big crash. So 14th would be icing on the cake and would really keep us in quite a good position for the overall standings. Meanwhile, oh goodness gracious, with now just 8 laps to go, this lead battle of 4 is going to be very, very interesting and definitive as we come to the tail end of this race, with no position on the podium being guaranteed in any way, shape or form. Any of these 4 could take it. Sainz with his injured Ferrari is probably going to not be able to catch up to anybody. He is currently on his own, 16 seconds behind Leclerc and 10 seconds ahead of Lance Stroll. Oh, Lando Norris, having made his pit stop, he came out in 4th place but has now found his way back into 2nd place on his softer tyres. I think it was Norris that took a scuffed set of soft tyres, but he is making it work and is right on the tail of Max Verstappen coming into the final DRS zone. It's a double DRS zone, so he is going to use this to hold on to the back of Max Verstappen. Oh, Jesus Christ. Perez ended up into the runoff area, and Norris is going down the outside using DRS. He makes it work, and he is well clear of Max Verstappen to take the lead of this race. What a decisive move using the DRS from Lando Norris. In fact, it's so decisive, he's actually broken the 1 second tow to Max Verstappen, who now finds himself fighting off the soft-tired Charles Leclerc, which is fascinating. Now, Sargent and Bottas have gone into the cliff. Are they... I wonder if they are going to try to go to the end. This is going to be fascinating if they try to go to the end, because their performance is going to drop off significantly, but if they can pull off the defense of the century, they may be able to hold on to these positions. Aerosmith is holding steady with Kevin Magnussen. I don't think this gap has come down, but Kevin Magnussen's gap to Alonso has come down quite significantly. Yeah, we need to see what these guys do when it comes to the pit exit time, because these guys' performance is going to drop off significantly. In fact, we can already see that Sargent, every time we look at Sargent's time counter, he's dropping back 0.1 second, 0.1 second, 0.2 seconds, 0.1 seconds, 0.1 second, just dropping back catastrophically. He either needs to come into the pit lane now, or if they're going to go to the end, this is going to be horrific. It's going to be absolutely horrific. And we can see already, actually, Alonso and Magnussen are back on the tail of each other. Sargent dives into the pit. Does Bottas? No, Bottas stays out. Didn't we see that previously? They risk puncture if there's only a few laps to go. Also, hi, you've been lurking while playing DVD with a friend. How are you, Hibble? I'm doing good, thank you. We lost one of our drivers to a massive car crash earlier, which wasn't good. But Aerosmith is now up into 15th place, when we forecasted her to finish in 16th. So Bottas is going to be the one to watch here, because his tyres are incredibly fucky wucky now, but both Alonso and Magnussen do not find a way past. So we'll have to see how this goes performance-wise. Annoyingly, Aerosmith isn't closing down on Magnussen. This is actually slightly frustrating. With Magnussen getting blocked by the reduced performance Bottas, I would like to see Aerosmith really gain. But we're not really doing that, which is not good. So here we go. We're in the final DRS zone, and Bottas's blocking is proving quite problematic to Alonso and to Kevin Magnussen. We'll see if Bottas dives into the pit lane. We'll see if he does. He's on 23%. I wouldn't be keeping a car out with that. And he does. He comes in. He comes in. He comes in. So here we are with just 6 laps to go. Valtteri Bottas is into the pits. Oh no, 4 laps to go. Sorry, I misread my numbers. So now this is going to be the case. So this is going to free up all of the people in front of us to pull out distance to us. So I think this battle here is now for position. So we are deploying our ERS the best we can, trying to keep this gap to Esteban Ocon. Hopefully this battle between Ocon and Zhao will delay Ocon enough that he doesn't fully catch up to the rear of Aerosmith. But this is now, everything is now for position. I'm not forecasting any other pit stops for any other drivers. However, there is battles emerging, and indeed Hulkenberg gets past the Williams to take 11th place. Now this isn't good for us, because Williams already has points, so if they get points then that's fine, but we want to keep Haas out of the points. So at this point we are willing Alexander Albon to overtake Hulkenberg. We'll see if he does it though. He's got the DRS, he's got the inside line. Is he going to get past? He does. He gets past. Hulkenberg backs out of it, and Albon is going to have the double DRS, so his wing opens and the Hulkenberg doesn't. So this is good for us in terms of overall race performance, so we're pretty happy with this one. Norris has secured a very decisive lead and is now dropped DRS range to Leclerc, who is fighting off against the two Red Bulls, whose tyres are starting to approach the cliff pretty quickly, although they definitely won't before the end of the race. Aerosmith is now in danger from Esteban Ocon. This isn't good. This really isn't good for us. We're definitely still on the lead lap. We're burning fuel as much as we can. We're burning ERS as much as we can. Honestly, this is just going to be merit from Aerosmith. If we can keep them behind. Ideally, we can. And Ocon is right on the tail of Aerosmith. This is kind of what we hoped didn't happen. Ocon tries down the inside, but can't quite make it work, but then does make it work, and Aerosmith gets the double pass. This happened to her before, and it's happened to her again. That is so unfortunate. Yeah, the double pass. We'll see if we can get past Zhao though. Zhao is somebody who Aerosmith is quite consistently able to overtake. It's not the end of the world because we were forecasting 16th for Aerosmith, so yeah, it's not the end of the world. I guess it's just going to be game on for Aerosmith to see what happens from here. So we can use DRS to try and catch up to the back of Zhao. But the most important thing is maintaining this gap to Sargent. We need to make sure that Sargent doesn't overtake us. And Albon is back into the points again, which is good for Albon, but doubly good for us because I mean that pushes Hulkenberg out of the points, so that is pretty huge. We're just going to keep our eyes on Aerosmith for the moment to see what she can do. She is dropping back quite a bit even with DRS. She does have a harder compound, and it is a more worn compound than both Ocon and Zhao in front of her. But as I said, Zhao is somebody who we have been known to overtake in the past, so here's hoping we can make that in particular work. So we're on lap 57. Oh, Lance Stroll's taken damage somewhere as well, which is pretty interesting. Not quite sure how that's happened. So 2 laps to go for Aerosmith, and Aerosmith does look like she's dropped out of DRS zone, although it is a double DRS detection, so we can hopefully use this to try and close up onto the back, which we do. I think we're gonna pump this up. So Charles Leclerc goes on to the final lap of this race, and once again the battle has closed up. So it is now anybody's It is now anybody's possibility to win this race. We've got Leclerc in first, and Norris in second, Perez in third, and Verstappen in fourth. It's a four-way tie for the lead of this race, although I think only Norris and Leclerc have the tyres to really make the dream work. We'll see how this goes throughout the lap. Everyone else is in a fairly interesting position. Unfortunately, the leaders aren't going to have to lap again, so we will just have to see how this goes. Aerosmith actually looks like she was dangerously close to an overtake there, but sadly wasn't really able to make it happen. And we're on the last lap of the race, so we're going to tell her to burn her tyres. At the lead of this race, Charles Leclerc comes round. Where are we? Where are we on the track? So we're approaching now the penultimate corner of the lap. And Leclerc does have a pretty tasty lead off of Lando Norris. Coming around the final corner onto the start-finish straight, Leclerc is going to manage to hold on to it to take the checkered flag in first position, followed by Norris, Perez, and Verstappen in fourth. Carlos Sainz, with his fairly injured Ferrari,
Charles Leclerc is today's winner.
Has limped it round to the end of the race and will take 5th place, having dropped down to 8th as a result of the damage. George Russell is going to round out the corner in the lead of something of a little bit of a freight train of people. And actually, we're going to cut back to Aerosmith, because Aerosmith looks like she's under danger of losing out in the 16th position. We really do not want to let this Williams pass, but we've not done it on the DRS zone, so this is pretty good. We're burning those tires as much as we can possibly get away with. We're going to ignore the rest of the ordering because our team is somewhat in danger. There is definitely still a chance for Logan Sargent to get past. Newer tires, softer tires. This is going to be a bit risky. Sargent is going to have the DRS, but he doesn't attempt an overtake. So Aerosmith does take 16th place. And the race is over. So this is a bit unfortunate for us because we're now going to have to rebuild the car.
I doubt we'll see a smile on the face of Daniel Ricciardo after that one.
Having to retire early will no doubt be a bitter disappointment. But today is done, and it's all about looking forward.
And the Monegasque driver certainly proved his worth with a terrific drive today.
That sees them double their win tally for this season. They'll be delighted with that.
Well, it wasn't exactly a walk in the park, but it was a thrilling weekend here for us all at the Australian Grand Prix. Well, Karun, how do you think they'll be feeling in the team garage at the end of that?
It was a strangely mixed weekend for them. We saw one driver put in a strong performance, but it was a different story for the other. Definitely positives there, though.
And that's about that for this weekend here in Melbourne.
Next round will see us head east as F1 prepares for the Japanese Grand Prix. We'll see you at Suzuka, a firm favourite for the drivers.
Okay, right, we're back. So at the end of that result, somehow, after so many position changes, Charles Leclerc, who started on pole, retains the win of this race to take 25 points. Norris gained 3 positions to take second, and Perez gained 3 positions to take third. Raven Aerosmith gained 5 positions to take 16th place, and unfortunately, Daniel Ricciardo caused a 4-car crash, which resulted in a red flag, taking out Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly, whereas Ayumu Iwasa crashed out on their very own. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, this now puts Charles Leclerc into the lead of the Drivers' Championship, dropping Max Verstappen down to second. Down at the potato end of the grid, Raven Aerosmith is the same, and Daniel Ricciardo loses out 1 position to Nico Hülkenberg. Ferrari retains the lead of the Constructors' Championship, and as a result of that run, Haas leapfrog us by 3 places to take 8th. So Haas are our big threat. We want to finish 8th. Williams have points, so this is why we really need to prevent Haas from getting points, which we at least managed to do. But yeah, we dropped down to 9th, which is still on target for us, but I want to finish 8th. In terms of the fastest pit stop championship, wow. The fastest pit stops were very much on point. I thought we were going to take points with our 2.6, but as we can see here, that actually didn't happen. So that does drop us down to 8th in the fastest pit stop competition. Yeah, with a 2.8, a 2.6, and a 2.9. So we do need to work on that one. Ricardo did not finish, so does not take the race bonus. However, we do get 300,000 as a result of Aerosmith's 16th place finish, which is pretty good for us. Now, unfortunately, this puts us in the predicament that we have to rebuild Ricardo's car.
We could go easy on the team kills.
This bar.
Just saying.
Oh my god.
Are you fucking serious?
Where the fuck did they get here? What's happening? Ow,
What the fuck? You fucking bitch!
Oh, here he is. Ka-chow!
Get your dilly vegetables.
Strawberry isn't a vegetable, you fucking mortal!
Let's go! Come on! Yeah! Oh!
But I'm looking down to plant the bomb.
Yeah, but he could. Okay, okay. Just because you can't see it. Oh! You can say if you want to, you can fuck a hooker. Are we ready for the flesh?
Are you ready for Tony Hawk's pro flesh tunnel?
Throttle down, throttle up.
You're a wanker. Okay, I'm.
Oh! Fuck!
What does the army say?
Fuck.
Fuck.
Fuck!
fuck.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. It's on you.
I literally can't move.
I'm spawned in the barrel of water.
You're really fast, and I am very good with ropes. That came out badly. Shut up.
We waited all this fucking time for you to download the game, and you fucking get yourself banned.
Doesn't hit as hard as life does.
Jesus Christ, that was
Okay.
deep. Who hurt you?
Shit.
Say the word exterminate.
Just up, down, there, right behind you, up the stairs. There we go.
No, that's my character! Oh, I got it, I got it. Ah! Fuck! Fudge! Oh lord, he's right there! What? Stop the zombie apocalypse, I want to talk about paddle steamers! What are you doing, aircraft? Fuck, I'm dead. Not good, not good, not good!
Why is it a planter in the fucking hallway?
Well, because that's where I'm gonna do all my fucking plants, isn't it? Come cannon! Fucking die!
Bunny talks more like this. No, wait, that's not right. Choity toity woities. That's.
There's a cooker! Oh lord! Oh yes! I shuriken the lights out of that!
Why have I been sent to prison?
Oh, holy fuck! That motherfucker just sank the bus. Do you have any idea how many broken bones you have?
I'm a jellyfish.
Fuck! Fuck! Fucking dumbass.
God damn it!
Absolute fucking...
Why did that not go through?
Cause you suck. What the moon doing? Bitch, I can't be outnumbered. I don't know how to count.
That's a fucking threat.
Then beat them the balloon. I thought you were gonna hit us up with a Roger Roger in that voice.
Roger, Roger.
Speed sign. You... Fucking hard mode.
Ah, you bitch!
Okay, that's no bueno. This is no bueno. This is very no bueno. All right, let's just abandon.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Can we handbrake this with all the people inside? Oh fuck yeah, we can. Fuck yeah.